The young police officer looked at the man sleeping on the park bench with disgust. "Move along, old man. No loitering allowed here." But when the police chief arrived at the scene and saw the silver star pinned inside the veteran's worn jacket, his face went white as he realized they had just arrested a war hero. Officer Tyler Brooks, 28 years old and convinced he was cleaning up the streets one arrest at a time, had been patrolling downtown Phoenix for 2 years. He prided himself on maintaining order, especially when it came to what he called the vagrant problem. To him, anyone who looked homeless was automatically a criminal waiting to happen. The Tuesday morning sun was already blazing when Brooks spotted the figure on the bench in Veterans Memorial Park. The man appeared to be in his late 60s, wearing a tattered green military jacket that had seen better decades. His gray hair was unkempt, his face weathered by years of sun and hardship. A small duffel bag sat beside him on the bench. To Officer Brooks, this was just another vagrant who needed to be moved along. "Hey, you!" Brooks called out as he approached the bench. "Park's not a hotel. Time to move." The man slowly opened his eyes and looked up at the officer. His gaze was clear and alert, despite his disheveled appearance. "Morning, officer." "Just resting for a moment." "Yeah, well, rest time's over," Brooks said, his hand moving to his radio. "There's a city ordinance against loitering. You can't sleep here." The man sat up slowly, his movements careful and deliberate. "I understand, officer. I'll be moving on." But what he didn't know yet, the man's name was Samuel Rodriguez, and he wasn't just any homeless person. Sam was a decorated Vietnam War veteran who had served 3 tours of duty as a combat medic. For the past 6 months, he had been living rough after losing his job and apartment due to complications from PTSD and medical bills from cancer treatment. But more importantly, Sam carried something in his jacket that would have changed Officer Brooks's entire approach if the young cop had bothered to ask instead of assume. "What's in the bag?" Brooks demanded, eyeing the duffel bag suspiciously. "Just my belongings, officer." Nothing illegal. Brooks's suspicion grew. In his mind, homeless people were often drug users or thieves. "I'm going to need to search that bag. And I need to see some ID." Sam reached slowly into his jacket pocket, his movements deliberate to avoid startling the obviously agitated officer. He pulled out a worn wallet and handed over his driver's license. "Samuel Rodriguez," Brooks read aloud, running the name through his radio for warrants. "Says here you're 67 years old. What's your story, Sam? How'd you end up living on park benches?" That's when everything changed. Sam looked at the young officer with patient eyes that had seen too much. "Son, sometimes life takes turns you don't expect. I served my country for 6 years, came home, worked construction for 30 years. Then I got sick, lost my job, couldn't keep up with the medical bills." Brooks rolled his eyes. "Yeah, everyone's got a sob story. Look, I've heard every excuse in the book. Military service doesn't give you the right to break city ordinances. I'm not making excuses, officer. Just answering your question." Brooks was about to respond when his radio crackled with the warrant check results. "No outstanding warrants, but I still need to move you along. This is a family park, not a homeless camp." Other early morning joggers and dog walkers were starting to take notice of the confrontation. Some pulled out phones to record what appeared to be another case of police harassment of the homeless. The biggest shock was still coming. Brooks decided to make an arrest to send a message to other vagrants who might think the park was a free hotel. "You know what? I'm tired of you people thinking the rules don't apply to you. Turn around. You're under arrest for loitering." "Officer, please," Sam said calmly. "I'll leave quietly. There's no need for this." "Too late for that," Brooks replied, pulling out his handcuffs. "Maybe a night in jail will teach you to respect city ordinances." As Brooks moved to arrest Sam, the veteran's worn military jacket shifted, revealing something pinned to the inside pocket. It was a small silver star on a blue ribbon with white stripes. A silver star, the third highest military decoration for valor in combat. But Brooks was too focused on making his arrest to notice. Sam didn't resist as the handcuffs clicked into place. "Officer, before we go, could you please make sure my belongings are secure? There are some important documents in there." "Your belongings will be processed at the station," Brooks said dismissively, not bothering to properly secure Sam's duffel bag. Several bystanders who had been watching the arrest with growing concern began to approach. One was Martha Williams, a 70-year-old woman who volunteered at the local VA hospital. "Officer," she called out, "is this really necessary? He wasn't causing any trouble." "Ma'am, please step back. This is police business." "But wait, there's more." Martha had noticed something that Officer Brooks had missed entirely. As Sam was being arrested, his jacket had opened enough to reveal not just the silver star, but also a small American flag pin and what appeared to be other military decorations. She quickly took out her phone and called her son, who worked at the VA hospital. "David, there's a veteran being arrested in Veterans Memorial Park. I think the officer doesn't know who he's dealing with." Meanwhile, a jogger named Michael Chen, who was himself a Navy veteran, had been watching the scene unfold. He too had noticed the military bearing of the man being arrested, the way Sam held himself despite his circumstances, the respectful way he addressed the officer even while being mistreated. Chen approached Officer Brooks. "Excuse me, officer, but I think you should know that man is a veteran." Brooks looked annoyed. "Sir, I need you to step back. Whether he's a veteran or not doesn't matter. The law is the law." "Actually, officer, it does matter," Chen replied. "We're in Veterans Memorial Park, and if he's a decorated veteran, there are protocols." "There are no special protocols for vagrants," Brooks interrupted. "Now please move along before I cite you for interfering with police business." What happened next surprised everyone. As Brooks was loading Sam into the police car, his radio crackled with an urgent message from dispatch. "Unit 47, be advised we have multiple calls about your current situation. Please hold your position. Chief Morrison is en route to your location." Brooks felt a chill run down his spine. The chief never came out for routine loitering arrests. Something was wrong. "Dispatch, what's the nature of the chief's response?" "Unit 47, just hold your position and wait for the chief. If you're moved by stories of veterans who deserve our respect and recognition, regardless of their circumstances, make sure to subscribe to our channel. These stories matter because they remind us that heroes come in all forms, and their service to our country should never be forgotten. Hit that subscribe button to join us in honoring those who served." The real surprise was, within 10 minutes, a black police SUV pulled up to the park with emergency lights flashing. Chief Patricia Morrison stepped out, her face grim and her posture radiating authority. She had been a police chief for 15 years, but before that, she had served as a military police officer in the Army. Following closely behind her was David Williams from the VA hospital, who had rushed over after his mother's phone call. "Brooks!" Chief Morrison's voice cut through the morning air like a blade. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Brooks felt his confidence evaporating. "Chief, I arrested a vagrant for loitering. Standard procedure." "Standard procedure?" Morrison's voice rose dangerously. You arrested Samuel Rodriguez? Brooks looked confused. Yes, ma'am. Do you know this individual? Chief Morrison looked like she was about to explode. Brooks, you just arrested a Silver Star recipient, a decorated combat veteran who saved the lives of 18 Marines during the Tet Offensive. The color drained from Brooks' face as the magnitude of his mistake began to sink in. David Williams from the VA stepped forward. Chief Morrison, Mr. Rodriguez has been struggling since his cancer treatment. We've been trying to get him into housing, but the waiting lists are long. He's not a vagrant. He's a hero who's fallen on hard times. That's when the phone rang. Chief Morrison's cell phone buzzed with a call from the mayor's office. Word of the arrest was already spreading through social media, and the optics of arresting a decorated veteran in Veterans Memorial Park were political dynamite. Chief Morrison, this is Mayor Davis. I'm seeing reports that one of your officers arrested a war hero. Please tell me this is some kind of mistake. Morrison looked at Brooks with a mixture of anger and disappointment. Mr. Mayor, we're handling the situation. The veteran will be released immediately, and there will be a full investigation. Meanwhile, Sam sat in the back of the police car, still handcuffed, watching the drama unfold with the same quiet dignity he had shown throughout the entire ordeal. Everyone learned the truth, but the real shock. Chief Morrison walked over to the police car and opened the door. Mr. Rodriguez, I am deeply sorry for this incident. Officer Brooks acted without understanding who you are or what you've sacrificed for this country. Sam looked up at the chief with those same patient eyes. Chief Morrison, the officer was doing his job as he understood it. I don't blame him. Morrison carefully removed the handcuffs from Sam's wrists. Sir, with your permission, I'd like to make sure you have a proper place to stay tonight. That's very kind of you, Chief, but I don't want special treatment. Mr. Rodriguez, it's not special treatment. It's the treatment you should have received from the beginning. Officer Brooks approached hesitantly, his earlier arrogance completely gone. Mr. Rodriguez, I owe you an apology. I had no idea about your service, about who you are. Sam stood slowly, his dignity intact despite the humiliation he had endured. Son, you didn't know because you didn't ask. But maybe next time, you might consider that everyone has a story worth hearing. The transformation that followed was swift and comprehensive. Within hours, the story of Sam Rodriguez's arrest had spread across social media and news outlets. The image of a decorated veteran being handcuffed for sleeping on a park bench became a symbol of how society sometimes fails its heroes. But instead of becoming just another viral outrage story, it sparked positive change. The Phoenix Police Department implemented new training protocols for officers dealing with homeless individuals, emphasizing the need to treat everyone with dignity and respect. The VA hospital fast-tracked Sam's housing application, and he was moved into a veterans' transitional housing facility within a week. Most importantly, Officer Brooks requested to be reassigned to work with the Homeless Outreach Unit, where he could learn to see the people behind the problems. But the story didn't end there. 3 months later, Officer Brooks found himself back in Veterans Memorial Park, but this time he was there voluntarily. He had organized a monthly event where police officers and VA social workers set up information tables to help homeless veterans connect with services. Sam Rodriguez was there too, not as someone needing help, but as a volunteer counselor helping other veterans navigate the system. Officer Brooks, Sam approached with a slight smile. I want to thank you. Brooks looked surprised. Mr. Rodriguez, I should be thanking you, and apologizing again for how I treated you. No, son, you don't understand. What happened that day changed things. Not just for me, but for a lot of veterans who were invisible before. Sometimes it takes a mistake to wake people up. Brooks nodded, understanding now what Sam meant. Mr. Rodriguez, I've learned something important since that day. What's that? That everyone deserves to be seen as a person first, not a problem to be solved. The park that had been the site of Sam's humiliation had become a place of healing and connection. A small plaque was installed near the bench where Sam had been arrested. It read, "In honor of all veterans who have served with courage and deserve to be treated with dignity, regardless of their circumstances." Sam often sat on that same bench, now housed and healthy, talking with other veterans who were struggling. His experience had taught him that sometimes the greatest service you can provide is simply listening to someone else's story. Officer Brooks, meanwhile, had become the department's liaison with veteran services. He spoke at police academies about the importance of seeing people as individuals rather than categories, and Chief Morrison used the incident to launch a citywide initiative to address veteran homelessness, ensuring that no hero would have to sleep on park benches while waiting for the help they deserved. The silver star that had been hidden in Sam's jacket was now properly displayed in a frame in his new apartment, alongside photos from his military service and letters from the Marines, whose lives he had saved in Vietnam. But more importantly, Sam's story had reminded an entire community that heroes don't stop being heroes just because they fall on hard times. The morning joggers and dog walkers who had witnessed Sam's arrest often stopped to chat with him when they saw him in the park. They had learned that the man they might have once walked past without seeing was actually someone whose courage had saved lives and whose dignity had survived circumstances that would have broken lesser men. Officer Brooks learned the most important lesson of his career from a homeless veteran on a park bench. That respect isn't something you earn by your current circumstances, but something you deserve because of your humanity. And sometimes it takes being wrong about someone to learn how to be right about everyone. The park bench in Veterans Memorial Park became more than just a place to rest. It became a symbol of second chances, of the dignity that every person deserves, and of the heroism that can be found in the most unexpected places. Sam Rodriguez had served his country in the jungles of Vietnam, saving lives under enemy fire. But his greatest victory came on a park bench in Phoenix, where his quiet dignity in the face of injustice reminded everyone that true character isn't revealed in moments of triumph, but in moments of trial. The silver star on his chest had always been there, waiting for someone to take the time to see it. And when someone finally did, it changed everything.